Hello everyone and welcome to TechWave. In this video, we are going to see number 1, what is prompt, number 2, what is prompt engineering, number 3, why this specific skill has got so much demand in the industry. Because for this specific skill, most of the companies are offering 250k dollars per annum. But why the companies are paying so much? We will discuss all of that in this video. So please like, share and subscribe and watch the video till the end because this video will be helpful to you. But first of all, what is prompts? Before knowing what are prompts, you should know what are predictive models and what are generative models. It is very simple to understand. In AI, we have two types of models. One is predictive models and one is generative models. Both are the models which are trained on some data. That is a similarity between them. One thing that you should understand is both the models have capability. If you see first type of model, which is predictive model, they will predict something for you. For example, if I give a image of cat to the predictive model, it will tell whether it is cat or it is dog. It is just predicts some output for you when we give some input. That's the duty of predictive models. Coming to second one, which is generative models, which are very advanced. If you see in the last 2 to 3 years, we don't have generative models, but recently we have generative models developed to the extent where we can use them in real applications. Not even recent years, in the past 6 to 7 months, the developments in the generative models are very advanced developments have been happened in generative models. All the applications like ChatGPT, Bird, Midjourney, DALL-E, all these applications are based on generative AI only. So when for generative models, you will give some input, and based on the input and the capability of the model, will generate some new output to you. See, generating a completely new output from the input given is very difficult because predictive modeling is easy because it just trains on some data and classifies the new data. That's it. That's the job of predictive model. But generative models need to generate very specific and new output according to its capability and the user requirement, which is very advanced and which is very surprising. For example, I can train a model with 20 cat images and 20 dog images. After that, I can give the model a new image and ask whether it is cat or dog. It's the classification problem. That's what predictive models do. Comparatively, this is an easier task as compared to generative modeling, where we have to completely create a new output. It's not just prediction, it's beyond prediction. That's what generative models do. For example, think for Midjourney or Daily, if you give a prompt, a dog with a suit in airspace, in space, basically. If you give a prompt like that, see, the model will imagine a dog in the space with a suit and creates a completely new output that is beyond to your imagination. See, for humans only, imagining a dog with a suit in the space is a complex thing. But if the same task is being done by an AI model, it's a very big thing, right? It's difficult for humans only. So, like these generative models takes some inputs and generates the output according to the input that the user gives. So we call these inputs that our user is giving as prompts. I think most of you are using ChatGPT and Bird. So many times you enter some text into the box, right? You enter some text or some input. So whatever you are writing, the text you are writing is called prompt. So in conclusion, what we can say is prompt is nothing but the input that you are giving to the generative models. We call that as prompt. Now coming to prompt engineering is a process. In this process, we optimize the prompts that are given to the generative model to optimize the output that it gives to the user. So at the aim of optimizing the output that the generative models are giving, we are trying to optimize the prompts that are being sent to the model, which is called prompt engineering. For example, the how good ChatGPT is giving answer to your question completely depends on how good you are asking the question or anything, or what kind of topic you are asking. So if you're asking, if you're getting some answer from ChatGPT, the quality of the answer that you're getting from ChatGPT depends on the quality of your prompt. And it actually depends on what are all keywords that you're mentioning in your prompt, what are all parameters that you're mentioning in your prompts, what are all important details that you're mentioning in your prompt are very important, that which will decide the quality of answer that you will get. The reason behind the boom is very simple, because the power of generative models is very huge, and most of the companies across the world are trying to use this technology, and they want to use the leverage the power of this technology of the generative models. But most of the generative models are the paid version. We have to pay for using these generative models. There are free versions, but they are the basic models. But to use the advanced models, we have to pay. There are some APIs for using these generative models, and for every API call, you have to pay money, and the amount of money you made depends on number of API calls you make. So if you use too many number of API calls, then you will get you have to pay so much cost to the company, right? So the cost depends on number of API calls you make. So the lot of companies which are using these generative models by using APIs are trying to reduce the number of API calls that they are making. If they reduce the number of API calls they make to the generative models, then they can reduce the cost of usage. Basically, what does this prompt engineers do? Their work is very simple. What I mean is, they have to generate and give some output to the company. Like basically, when they join in any company, they have to provide some output to the company by using least number of prompts, by using least number of API calls. That's the duty. They have to generate quality output to the company by using least number of API calls. That's the duty of them. So companies are hiring uh, people who can write better prompts and who can reduce the number of API calls, and therefore can reduce the total cost to the company for using those API calls. So companies are hiring such people. What is the eligibility criteria for becoming a prompt engineer? There is no eligibility criteria. What all that you need to know is you should know prompt engineering. That's it.